Growing up and still today, my family and I go to Easter service Mass and we listen to our pastor preach about Mary, Jesus, and the tomb. Also, growing up and still today, I am super scared of wasps. One time there was a wasp attack inside my house, and my dad had to get the wasp sprayer to kill them and the nest that was up in my attic. One tiny little wasp stung me on my hand, and boy was it painful. After this pain, it taught me a little of humility. In this story, I can for sure relate from going to Easter service to a wasp attack. Wasp at Easter by Robert McCammon. Easter morning arrived cloaked in gloom. Mama phoned Grand Austin and Nana Alice, and then Dad picked up the telephone to call Granddaddy Jaybird and Grandmama Sarah. We would all, as we did every Easter, converge on the Zephyr First Methodist Church to hear about the empty tomb. The white church on Servine Street was filling up by the time we parked. It was an old church built in 1939. The church was prim to its finest on Easter Day, but this year the rain had defeated the paintbrush. "Come in, and some good Easter morning to you, sunshine." That was Dr. Lysander, who served as the church's greeter. He had never missed a Sunday. "Good morning, peach pie," he said to my smiling mother, to my father, "Raining hard enough for you, Thunderbirdie?" And to me, "Step right in, Bronco." Getting a new christening for a day was always the highlight of church. The sanctuary was steamy, though. The wooden ceiling fans revolved. The glass sisters were up front playing a piano and organ duet. They sure could play up a storm. The pews were packed, almost solid. Other people trying to find seats. "Tom, over here, for God's sakes, are you blindy?" There was only one person who would holler like a bull moose in church. Granddaddy Jaybird. "We saved you seats," my grandfather bellowed. "Come on, before somebody steals them." Grand Austin and Nana Alice were in the same row too. Grand Austin was sitting beside Granddaddy Jaybird, which had compounded his agitation. Nana Alice, however, was a vision of happiness. She was sitting beside Grandmama Sarah, and they got along like daisies. Grandmama Sarah was tugging at Granddaddy Jaybird's suit jacket to try to get him to sit down. He would holler, "Room for two more over here." "Sit down, Jay." She had resort to pinching his bony butt. My parents and I squinched in. Grand Austin said to Dad, "Good to see you, Tom. I'd say this is the biggest crowd in half a dozen East. Place is packed as the whorehouse on payday, ain't it, Tommy?" Granddaddy Jaybird interrupted, and Grandmama Sarah elbowed him. "I sure wish you'd let me finish a single sentence," Grand Austin told him. "Boy, you're looking good," Granddaddy Jaybird plowed on. "Rebecca, you feeding this boy his meats?" "Can't you hear-y?" Grand Austin asked him. "Hear what-y?" Granddaddy Jaybird retorted. "Turn up your hearing aid, Jay." Grandmama Sarah said, "What-y? Hearing aid, turn it up." It was going to be an Easter to remember. Everybody said hello to everybody. Because of the rain, the windows were shut tight and the air was getting really muggy. The floorboards were wet, the walls leaked, and the fans groaned as they turned. Reverend Richmond LeBoy stepped behind the pulpit and began to talk about what a glorious day it was with Jesus risen from the dead and all. I realized who was sitting directly in front of me. The demon. The demon's name was Brenda Sutley. The demon earned her name because she had once drawn a picture of her father with horns and a forked tail in art class. She had brought a dead cat to school in a shoebox with pennies taped to its eyeballs for show and tell, and it was quietly rumored that she was behind the explosion of pipes in the girls' bathroom at Zephyr Elementary last November. I couldn't look away. She extended her index finger and aimed it toward one of her gaping nose holes, and on the tip of it was a glistening green mass. Her mouth began to open. "No!" I begged her, mind to mind. The demon slid her finger toward her wet tongue. I could do nothing but stare. Reverend LeVoy stood up again to deliver his Easter sermon, and that was when the wasp landed on my hand. The wasp edged itself between my first and second fingers and sat there. Something flew past my face, and I looked up to watch a second wasp circle the demon's head and landed on her crown. Reverend LeVoy was really preaching now about crucified Jesus and weeping Mary and the stone that had been rolled away. I looked up at the church's ceiling fan. I watched three wasps emerge from it and descended down into the congregation. A few seconds later, two more came out. I looked at the hole in the ceiling. More were coming out. I counted them. 8, 9, 10, 16, 17, 21, 22. I stopped at 25. A dozen more wasps boiled out of the hole. The wasp between my fingers crawled along my index finger and stopped on my knuckle. It occurred to me that Satan found a way to slip into the Easter service. Reverend Lavoie raised his hand to the angels, and suddenly he found them crawling with little wings. My mom put her hand on mine. It got her. She screamed. I heard Granddaddy Jaybird bellow, "Shut fire!" as he was pierced. Nana Alice let out an operatic quavering high note. All across the church there were screams and hollers. "My dumb leg's stuck!" Grand Austin shouted. "Jay, help me!" Grandmama Sarah yelled. But Granddaddy Jaybird was already fighting his way out into the clogged, thrashing mass of people in the aisle. Dad pulled me up. I heard an evil hum in my left ear, and the next instant I took a sting at the edge of my ear. Ow! One of them caught me in my right shoulder, and the other impaled my upper lip. People were fighting through the door to escape from torment. I helped Dad pry Grand Austin's wooden leg loose from under the pews. Wasps were jabbing at my father's hand. Mom, Nana Alice, and Grandmama Sarah were trying to get out into the aisle. Dad and I got Grand Austin out into the aisle. Dad brushed the wasps off. More and more swarmed around us. Children were crying and women were shrieking. We were almost out. Grand Austin staggered, but Dad held him up. We got through the door. My feet slipped from under me, and my Easter suit met Cypher's mud. Reverend Lavoie slammed the church door shut. The rain came down like hammers and nails, beating us all senseless. I was hurting, and I imagined in my pain that behind the church's closed door, the wasps were rejoicing. Somewhere across Cypher, the bells of another church rang. I stood up, my lower lip, shoulder, and the back of my neck throbbing. The thing about pain is that it teaches you humility. The Easter bells rang across the watery town. Church was over. Hallelujah.